Hey guys, for today's video, we're going to be doing a foliage on a natural redhead to do some kind of warmer tones. So if you want to see how we did this service, then keep watching. Don't forget you can follow me over on Instagram at Christy@thecottage. Look at this hair. It never ends. I'm still zooming out. It never ends. Here's my clients before. And we're going to start by doing some facial framing. And this is actually something that I've never really shown you guys, I don't think. So I thought I would do this. So the way that I do my facial framing is I really don't do it too heavy because I feel like the style over the last few years is just being kind of more of like a very fine facial framing. So we're just gonna make sure it's even up in the front. And then the way I do my parting is just right up like even with the ear. And I just kind of take that and slide cut down. That way, it's just kind of taking little pieces at a time and just kind of blending it down as you go down into the length. The thing about this is you don't want to go behind the ear and like basically take a section of hair from like maybe the back middle of the length. Because if you do that, then what you're going to end up happening is creating all this short hair around the front, and it's going to drop down to this extremely longer length like in the back. And I had this example in beauty school that kind of like made me realize like, holy shit, if you don't section from the ears and forward, what can happen is I saw this guy do a haircut on a classmate, and she had her hair was literally down to her butt. It was one length and she wanted layers in her hair, just facial framing. He kept doing a very heavy cut, like not just sliding, but like actually cutting down and like parting, pulling it forward, cutting down. By the time he got to the back of her hair, because he like sectioned all the way back down the center of her head and pulled it forward, if her hair was pulled like back, like the front section of her hair was literally to her shoulders, and then all of a sudden it just dropped extremely long in the back. So that way I think it's a good reason when you do facial framing is to make sure that you're not cutting behind the ears. If you want to blend your layers, that's fine, but as long as facial framing goes, I wouldn't do anything behind the ear area. Okay, now that we're getting into the color, because I always take like 500 hours trying to explain like the simple things about a haircut. So now that we're getting to the color, I didn't do our normal foil that I do for my facial framing and like money pieces, because she didn't necessarily like want that. She just wanted it to be more kind of natural and blending into her natural roots with a little bit brighter around the face, but not necessarily like a huge strappy like bright blonde piece. She did say that she wanted it to blend with her natural color and kind of like caramely soft blonde tones, not necessarily like super bright blonde. So I wanted to make sure that it blends with her natural and that she's not going to have like bad grow out. So that's why I chose not to do like the framing around the face and more just like have more of a blended look with her balayage. So right now we're just going to go through and do some diagonal partings on a zigzag with a weave. And we're going to do a foliage so that way we can get it to brighten up nicely. I mean, look at this hair. I have to fold it like 500 times. It's literally so long. And can we just talk about red hair for a minute here? So I had somebody comment before on another color that I did a video like a while ago. It was like natural redhead to icy blonde or whatever, and somebody commented that she's not a redhead or whatever, and the color of that client's hair was actually pretty similar to the color of the client that I'm doing right now. And I just want to make it clear that just because somebody is not like fire crotch red, that doesn't mean that they don't still belong in the redhead category, okay? So if somebody has like copper hair, they're still a redhead. If they have like strawberry blonde hair, they're still a redhead. It just, redhead means basically like anything in that family of warmer, redder tones. So just because someone doesn't have like extremely vibrant like red hair doesn't mean that they don't fall in that family. And so don't argue with me on if somebody's a redhead or not. Okay, we need to save the redheads. And if this gets our numbers up on counting somebody that has like a naturally like red brown hair color, they can be in the redhead family because we need more redheads out there. Save the redheads. Don't argue with me on if someone's redhead or not. I know what I'm talking about. And look at that pretty color. I think redheads are so gorgeous. I think it's not fair that when they go gray, their hair actually turns to like a really pretty like copper tone. So like redheads don't even go gray. They go like copper. So anyways, redheads can fall in any like warmer hair tones. And I don't want to hear it this time. Okay, bye. Okay, hi, I'm back. That was a long break. I hope that we made up by this point, but just so you know, don't piss me off because we will go on a break, okay? But I'm back now. So for her hairline right here, she wants it to blend into her roots. So we're doing a zigzag parting directly on her hairline and we're backcombing it so that way she's going to be nice and bright, but when it comes to her roots, it's just going to really softly blend down into the blonde. And that way she can go quite a bit without feeling the need to have to come back because we're not going straight up onto her hairline. So she's going to have a few months before she's going to feel like, oh, I need to get my hair done. So right now we're just going to do, I think, just one foil right on her hairline, and then I'm going to kind of start going along her part diagonally so that way she kind of has some dimension but still a little bit of brightness like through the top part of her hair. I know I've talked about it before, but I really like doing these diagonal partings instead of doing like horizontal partings going up the side of the head because I feel like it kind of angles down. So by the time you get to the top of the part, like right at the front of the hairline, it's going to be like right at the top and then angled down towards the back when you reach the top of the head. So it's naturally going to be brighter, but then where the hair falls, it's going to kind of fall a little bit more darker, like at the very top because it's angled downwards. So I definitely really like this kind of parting because it just helps it fall a little bit more naturally if that's what somebody wants, if they don't want it to be too heavy of a balayage, like right on the top of their head where it might just be more natural and more of a Rudy look. So if you guys haven't tried the diagonal partings, then I highly recommend it. There's also been some really good suggestions in the comments by other hairstylists that give recommendations for how they like to do their balayage. So if you guys have any suggestions, then leave it in the comment section, because I really like hearing what you guys like to do or what works best for you. And then I also think it's good for other hairstylists to read it too, just because we're such a good community and we can learn from each other. So I think that if you have something that works best for you, go ahead and share your tips and tricks, because I like to hear it and, see, maybe I want to try using it sometime too. So go ahead and leave those comments so I can check it out, and so that other people can check it out too. Right here on her part, I'm kind of taking a bigger subsection to leave some dimension right on her hairline. I want to make sure that she still has enough brightness, but I want the brighter areas to pop more. So I'm going to be leaving a little bit fuller of a subsection in between. That way she has those dimensional pieces to make sure that even though we're trying to blend the hair, that where we do have the blonde, that it's going to stand out against her pretty red hair. And like I was saying before, look at her sectioning right now that I'm working on. You can see that I'm basically at the front of the head where that brightness is right at the top of the part, but then it angles back to where there's still going to be hair that's going to fall over that section. So that's naturally going to create more brightness around the front of the face. But as I work my way back for my next sectioning, I'm just going to do a really, really fine weave and a fine foil. That way she has a little bit more brightness, but this is going to help keep that diagonal that I was talking about earlier, so that the natural hair falls a little bit heavier over the blonde, so that it's a little bit softer looking, but we're still going to preserve more of the brightness around the face. So right here, I just don't want to have it too blonde, so I'm just going to take like a little bit more of a finer piece and really back comb it. That way it blends down really good. So she still is going to have a lot of depth and darkness that's going to fall over that blonde that was in the section below, but not as much is going to fall over it in the front. So she's still going to have a heavier amount of blonde right around her face, but then blend to get a little bit darker as it goes towards the back of her head. So this whole week I've basically been off of work because I had mentioned that my family's in town, and last night we ended up like having a lot of drinks, and I mean, not like too bad, but anyways, so then I also didn't sleep very good, and then we got up extra early and went to grandma's house and like had crepes and made like pancakes and stuff together, and like went swimming. And if you follow me on Instagram, then you've watched my stories and you've seen like how crazy of a week I've had. But anyways, the reason why I'm saying all this is because I feel like I kind of have like, I have a cloudy brain right now. So half the stuff I'm like, does that make sense? Am I like saying that correctly? So if this video at any point doesn't make sense, then that's why. And now we're moving to the back section, which is where we're trying to maintain a little bit more of her natural hair color. So we're not going to be taking the blonde up quite as high. We're going to be trying to blend it down a little bit further. So this top section, we are going to just have this stay within a few inches of her hairline, not go like right up to her hairline like in the other areas. So we're going to be, look at this length. Look at how long this freaking hair is. Like, you guys have no idea the amount of bleach that I had to use for this service. By the way, I used, look at this. I can't even like record it. It's so long. I used Schwarzkopf BlondeMe with 20 volume and Olaplex. And I literally had to fill up like 4 times, like double the amount that I normally would. So, and like, look, I couldn't even get it in the foil. At this point of the hair, I was like, you know what, son of a bitch, just we get in the foil. So, look at that. But anyways, so we're going to do this back section, and she said that she ended up wanting to do a full foil or full balayage. So I'm kind of doing like sections in between for depth, and then this section I'm not going to go quite as high. I'm going to kind of stay more in the mid section, mid shaft area, and then paint through the ends, and then kind of the section below that I might go a little bit higher up. So we're just going to finish this back section and let her process. And now we're finishing up her balayage. You can see everything that we had done. We left lots of her natural out for lots of dimension and to blend quite a bit. And then we tipped her ends out to keep them a little bit brighter. And you can see here just how nice she lifted, but she doesn't want to keep it this blonde. So right now we're going to go mix for her toner. Okay, so the client that I'm working on right now is naturally a redhead, probably like a level 5 or 6 probably, and her ends do go a little bit lighter through the ends, a little bit more copper. And she says that she wants to like go blonde, but not like, she wants to be like a warm caramel blonde. And I'm trying to look to see what to mix with. The thing is, her hair is like 500 feet long, and so it's like I have one shot to mix. So I kind of have to throw a whole bunch of stuff together, because if I run out, then I'm kind of screwed, because I won't be able to remix it exactly just because her hair is so long. So the way that I'm thinking I'm gonna mix for her hair is the Schwarzkopf Agora Vibrance 757 by but I don't want it to be like too warm or anything. This is, I kind of mix kind of weird. I usually throw like a whole bunch of things together just to like, I don't know, if I feel like I don't have enough of one thing, I'll just throw like 500 things together. So the 757, I'll probably do, I have some 765, which is like a gold chocolate. The 757 is like a gold copper. So I feel like those will be kind of like the warmer tones that she's looking for. But I was trying to like look online to see, because I don't have swatches, so I don't know like how warm and how bright they are, or like is it super coppery. So I'm not really sure exactly. My freaking phone won't load. So I think to be safe, I'm also gonna add some of the 9546 just to kind of like brighten it up a little bit, make it a little bit lighter. But then I think I'm also gonna add a little bit of 811 just to cool it down a little bit in case it is too coppery. So yeah, I'm gonna mix a whole bunch of these together. And for I kind of wing it. I feel like you guys really want to know like how much of this did I use, and honestly I just wing it a lot of the time. Like I'll show you guys measuring just because I know like you want to see. But a lot of people have asked like, why do I formulate the way that I do? So the 757, I'm probably going to do like maybe a third of my formulation is going to be like the 757 and the 765 together. So probably like half and half of each of those. And then I'll probably do a good chunk of the 9546 just to make sure that it gets light enough. But then I'm probably gonna do like a little bit of the 811 just to make sure that it cools it down enough if it's too warm. So, and I'm gonna do it in a bottle, and my math sucks, so I don't know if that added up to like 100% or whatever, but you know, I'm a hairstylist, not a scientist. So that's what we're gonna do. And hopefully it turns out. Oh yeah, I also wanted to say, I know that there's probably like a perfect shade that I could mix for. I just don't have it. So that's why I'm kind of throwing like all these random colors together. This is a new client that I'm working on, and so I've never done her hair, and so I didn't know what we'd be doing. I just knew it was a balayage, so I figured like a blonding color. So I'm sure if I was at like the beauty supply, if I saw the color that I wanted, I'm sure they have it available. I just don't. So this is what I have available in my cupboard right now. So that's why I'm mixing with like 500 different shades. By the way, I don't know if you guys want to talk about my hair right now. I washed it last night and I let it air dry in a ponytail, and this is just what it's doing. And I never do my hair, and I didn't even brush it today. And I've been in the sun a lot, so I don't know if you want to talk about my tan also. But I just wanted to give myself a shout out because I feel like my hair is really pretty, and that doesn't happen very often. So, hey. And here's her hair after toning for about 7 minutes roughly. I feel like it's just like the right amount of warmth. And here's her hair straightened. I feel like a lot of times it's hard to see how the hair actually looks when it's curly. So here's her hair straightened. And we were both really happy with how the color turned out. I told her that it's gonna fade and lighten up over time. So she said that, oh, she could have gone blonder, but you know, first time she told me that she wanted it to be a little bit more natural and not super bright. So here's the final result. Just a really pretty color. I feel like it turned out. It's kind of warm but cool at the same time. So thank you guys so much for watching, and don't forget to like and subscribe.